Two massive snowstorms will impact the United States this week. These snowstorms could be historic, and places that have never seen snow before could see snow. What you're seeing right now is the Canadian model, and as you can see, our first snowstorm is right over here in the Northeast. This is going to happen on Sunday night, and there will be heavy snow in areas like New York City and Boston. And then if we continue to play this through, our next snowstorm develops around Texas, Louisiana, and even places in the Gulf of Mexico could see snow. That's how south we are going to see snow with this system. As we continue to play this through, as you can see, then it races across the southeast and dumps heavy snow in areas like the Carolinas, and even some snow possible in the Florida Panhandle, and freezing rain almost as far south as Orlando. Jacksonville, you would definitely see some freezing rain from this, which will be a first for many years. And if we continue to play this through, we actually have 3 systems this week. As you can see, we will also have another one on Friday. This one is a bit further out, so there is less that we know about it, but areas like Georgia and the Carolinas and the Northeast could see some freezing rain, ice, snow mix. But let's start out with the one that is going to happen in 1 day from now. We are 1 day away from this big northeast snow, and if we play the European model, let's see what it says. So as we play this through, as you can see, our first system that we are getting today, you're expecting a rain and maybe even a snow mix in the northeast. As that moves off the sea, on the backside of it, we have some leftover moisture, and that creates another low pressure system down by the Carolinas. And since this is so south, we will likely see it race up north, and the closer it gets to the shore, the heavier the precipitation, if it be rain or snow, it'll be. So as we play this through, as you can see, very heavy precipitation is falling in areas like Philadelphia, which is likely snow, and then also in DC, you have heavy snow that is falling. Now the European keeps it more out to sea, which will keep those snow totals a little bit lowered, but it'll remain mostly snow in areas like Boston. So that is the European. Now let's look at the NAM. So if we look at the NAM, those are the rain and snow showers we are getting today. And then there is that system right over there on the North Carolina coast that is brewing. And then areas like Virginia and West Virginia, Ohio are starting to see some snow. And then as it moves up north, as you can see, this one keeps it a little bit closer to the coast, which gives higher snow totals for areas like New York City and Philadelphia. And then as we continue to move this through, heavy snow for areas like Boston, and even Cape Cod is seeing heavy snow. Normally Cape Cod with these systems sees rain, and then areas like Boston see snow, and then that system moves out of here. Now let's look at what the HRRR is saying. So those are those rain and snow showers that we've been seeing today already. And then the low pressure system starts to form around central North Carolina. And then there you can see it's out to sea right over there. And then heavy snow for areas like New York City. This one keeps it a lot closer to the coast than the other models. So as you can see, areas like Cape Cod are seeing rain from this. Areas like Rhode Island are seeing a mix of rain, snow, and sleet. And then it looks like Boston gets very lucky with this and gets right on the line where they are just getting snow, and just about 5 miles east of them, it is sleet. So that's where you'll see the highest snow totals, is where you're very close to that sleet line, but you are not in the sleet. And then it moves out of here. So if we look at how much snow we're going to get from this, I trust the NAM with this actually. So as you can see, areas like northern and central Virginia will see around 2 to 3 inches. DC will see 2 inches of snow. Philadelphia with around 2 inches of snow. New York City with around 3 inches of snow. Boston with around 5 inches of snow. So this is what I think is going to happen actually. I think the NAM Kuchera is very accurate. But let's look at one more. So here's the Euro 10-to-1 ratio. This ratio will be higher than 10-to-1, probably around like 12-to-1. But as you can see, this has areas like DC under 4 inches of snow, Philadelphia with around 3 to 4 inches of snow, and then New York City gets a lower amount at around 2.6 inches of snow, and Boston with around 2.7. So that is all for that northeast system. Now let's look at this historic snow. So as you can see right over here, here is our system. And as you can see, due to the amount of a lift from the system, we already have snow showers in areas like Kansas and Oklahoma. And then as this trough moves on down, it'll interact with the Gulf of Mexico moisture and cause a big snowstorm for areas right over here. So you'll see that as I play this model through. As you can see, it interacts with the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. And bam, right over there in areas like Austin, Texas, you're seeing lots of snow. And then Houston starts to get it at the same time that New Orleans starts to get it. New Orleans will see the most snow that they've gotten in around 20 years. The last time they saw an inch of snow was in 2008, This is likely to be more than an inch of snow, so this could be the first time this decade that New Orleans has seen snow this much. And then as we continue to play this through, as you can see, areas like Birmingham, Alabama, Atlanta, and Columbia, South Carolina are getting into the action. And we have some heavy snow that is falling in the Florida Panhandle. And then even if we continue to play this through even more, as you can see, areas like the Outer Banks are seeing inches upon inches of snow. And then all the way up into New York City, you are seeing some light snow. One key thing to notice is areas like Jacksonville are seeing freezing rain, which will cause big impacts as areas like Jacksonville are nowhere near ready for a winter storm. And then by Wednesday morning, this is all cleared out and it is off the sea. So this system moves really quickly. It starts in Texas at around Tuesday morning and then is out by Wednesday morning. So this will not stay with us for longer than 36 hours. Now what I do want to show you is a northwest trend with this. So if we do go to around this forecast hour, we can see, so this is the current run of the European. If we look at the previous, it looks like it has heavier snow because there was a slight downtrend with the ZRZ. And then right over here, as you can see, it's much more east. So if we go all the way back to here, let's go right here. You will see a clear northwest trend. So let me draw this for you. As you can see, it starts right here, and you will clearly see each model shift. It will go back and forth, but ultimately it'll end up being more northwest, which means anywhere right over here that is highlighted, you can still see lots and lots of snow because this northwest trend is likely to continue. So let's look at this trend real quick. As you can see, it is a pretty obvious trend, especially with the last two right over there. So you have that right there was the run from yesterday afternoon. This was yesterday evening, and then this was this morning. So as you can see, from yesterday afternoon to yesterday evening, that was a big trend up. But, we got to look at multiple models for this. So let's look at the GFS. The GFS is progressing the system a lot slower. As you can see, it forms at around the same time, which is Tuesday morning, but then it progresses a lot slower. And Wednesday morning, we still have snow that is falling all the way as west as Columbia, South Carolina, and even down into the Florida Panhandle. There's still snow or freezing rain falling, and this is really out of here by Wednesday afternoon. But as you can see, the GFS is showing quite a similar output as the European, except for areas like southern Georgia, you kind of miss out and have more rain with this GFS solution. Now, the other ones are pretty modest, right? Like, I think that's pretty accurate of what could happen, right? But here's the Canadian model. Now, the Canadian model, I'll warn you, this isn't going to happen. If it does, we're all going to be very lucky. But here you go. As you can see that system forming over by Texas. Look at all the moisture with it. This is so much more moisture than the other models. And then as you can see, the system is not out of here until Wednesday night. So it stays with us for a long while, dropping, as this model says, 20 plus inches in southeastern North Carolina. That is not going to happen. But then as you can also see, freezing rain as far south as Orlando. And then areas like New Orleans from this, getting around almost a foot of snow. That's not going to happen. Here's the total snowfall from that. That's not going to happen, but this is the absolute best case scenario. And we are only 3 days away, but there are still models that do not show this. Let me show you. Here is the icon model. So as you can see, this system forms right over there at Texas, and it is much more suppressed. The snowfall from the system is much more suppressed. It's not as widespread as you can see. And I think that is due to this keeping the low pressure system much further south than the other models. Normally, whenever we're looking at southern snow, you want to see the models trending further south. But actually, this one is so far south, you want to see it trending more north. Otherwise, just the coastline will see snow. So as we play this through, that is exactly what this does. Just the coastlines of the southeastern coast and the Gulf of Mexico sees snow. Nowhere else does. So that is still a realistic thing that could happen. This low pressure system could be a lot weaker, causing it to be more suppressed. And then it could be a lot further south, causing the snow to not go as far north. So for snow totals out of this one, areas like Houston, probably around 6 inches of snow. Areas like New Orleans could see up to 6 inches of snow as well. This is per the Euro model. And then the Euro also says the storm will explode once it hits the East Coast. In areas like southern Georgia, around 6 inches of snow. And areas like Wilmington, North Carolina, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, up to 10 inches of snow. This likely won't happen, but this is per the Euro model. So you might be wondering, why are some models showing this more intense than others? And this is something I do want to show you. This is basically the only reason why is the tilts of the troughs. So let's look at this. This is the European model, which is showing the best case scenario, but it's also quite modest, right? So here's our system on Tuesday. There's lots of colors to this. So there are two main things that you can focus on. You can either focus on these black bars right here and see how they are, and that'll tell you the tilt of the trough, or you can look at what's ahead of the system right here, and this is forecasting the energy that is being drawn in from the Gulf of Mexico. So you see like these little yellow and red lines, those are energy. So I'm going to show you both actually. So as you can see, this is Tuesday evening, and you can see we are currently getting snow in around this area. And this is our trough up here. So if we follow one of these lines right here, you can see that this is a positively tilted trough, meaning that it's tilting to the west. So as you can see, it's tilting to the west, which is not good for energy actually. You want it to be tilting either neutral or negatively. Because if it's tilted negatively right over here, you can pull moisture in from the Gulf of Mexico in front of it. Which, I mean, it also can do that with a positively tilted trough as it's doing down here, but it's less effective. So if we continue to play this through, you can see as we reach areas whenever this storm is starting to end. So this is as the heaviest snow is falling in areas like North Carolina and South Carolina. As you can see, our trough right over here, let's track this line. It is just about neutrally tilted now. So that means that more energy is coming, and that's why this intensifies as it hits the East Coast. And then also, you can see those areas of energy right up there. That's all the energy the storm is pulling in front of it for the actual snow. But now let's look at a different model that is not showing the same thing as this. So we can actually look at the new icon model. So the new icon shows the same thing as the old ones, which is just snow for the coastline down here, as you can see. So let's look at what it's showing for the same thing we were just looking at. So right over here, you can clearly see why. It's pretty slight, but you can tell that this is a lot more positively tilted than the Euro model shows. So right over here is Tuesday afternoon. If we take one of these, then you can see it is definitely still positively tilted. And if we look at our energy right over here, there is much less of it. On the European, these are a lot darker contours and a lot more of them. And then as we continue to play this through, as you can see, let's get to about right there. The system does move a lot faster than on the European. It is out of our hair before we even get any daylight on Wednesday. But as you can see, this is about a neutrally tilted trough. Yeah, it's a neutrally tilted trough, and the energy is definitely there, but it is way off to shore. It's definitely too far south. Look at this right here. So this is 1 a.m. on Wednesday, and then this is the European 1 a.m. on Wednesday. As you can see, it's taking a lot slower to reach here. It's much more west. And then also where you see those energy, that I was pointing out, it goes a lot further north when the icon was much more suppressed south. And then if we do continue to play this Euro model through, as you can see, we can see our next system right over here, which is a lot more south, as you can see. And it's a lot smaller of a trough. It's not a big, wide trough. This one is more of a skinny trough, as you can see. You couldn't see it, it's right down here. As you can see, these bars right over here, they're much more skinny than the other one. The other one, the bars were going like that, much more of a wedge kind of, as you could say. So that does cause this to be a much smaller system, but you still do have that energy that is coming in front of it. And this looks to be about a neutrally tilted trough as we reach areas like Louisiana. So actually all the models do agree with this. This would be more of a confined storm, only affecting areas like right over here, and then possibly it could affect areas of the Northeast. Since this is much smaller, it will cause less widespread impacts. But where you do see impacts, they could be heavy. So that is all for this video. If you do have any questions or comments, be sure to ask me below in the comments section. And then if you did enjoy it, be sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!